What is up, everybody? Welcome to the feast, episode 102. Let me do a little adjustments there. I think that should be better. There we go. How's it going, guys? So we've got a few things to go over today. Let me load some things up here. So good to be here. You know, I was actually really happy. There's a lot of people playing Tooth and Tail right now, which is really, really cool. If you're new, welcome. So I want to go over a couple announcements before we get into the show tonight. We are doing the last of the old patch replays. Figured I would get to some of those submissions, which means since we are on a new patch, I do need new replays. So please, please don't be shy, guys. Submit replays to ToothAndTailTV@gmail.com so I can hopefully have enough for another show next week. But let's go over some balance changes. I actually really like this patch so far. I played for a few hours on the ladder earlier today, so let's get into it. We finally have some stealth detection here. This is something I've been kind of arguing for a long time. My vision for it was actually to link it to pigeons. I don't know, I thought that would be cool. But this is really interesting too. Basically, after the commander stays still for a little bit, like in this GIF, you can reveal stealth units, cams and mines. I was having difficulty making it work today while I was playing. I played against a lot of people using chameleons. Nobody was really using mines though. But I think the reason is because it's literally got to be like right in that same tile, which makes sense. Toad, this is actually a change I recommended to Andy a long time ago, that toads should move the same speed in water, just almost as a joke because they're amphibious and they can swim. So it's like, hey man, toads should be able to swim, and now they can, which is really cool. Pigeons getting a bit of a buff here. Some of the big differences I feel like is the ferrets have been improved. I think that is something we needed. Ferrets haven't really been competitive in a long while, so cool to see them getting a little bit of love. I'm interested to see how that'll pan out in new competitive events. Chameleon getting a slight nerf. I think everybody could agree with that. Chameleon's been very, very meta for quite a while. Badger getting a little bit of changes. Revs up a little bit faster, revs down a little bit slower. So a buff to the Badger, which is interesting. A little bit of the nerf to the Wolf. And then, of course, what I'm really happy about, a Fox buff here. Honestly, the DPS change and the HP change is kind of cool. But what I'm most excited about is the vision range increase. Makes the Fox poke a lot deadlier. Barbed wire's got a little bit of a nerf. Landmines kind of got changed a little bit to where they were, where they can detonate from a little bit further, and single target DPS down a little bit, and the same AoE damage. Machine gun, another change that really made me happy. One of my favorite units that, again, we just haven't seen in competitive play for a while. Getting a bit of a buff there. I just noticed I don't have my browser capture up. Whoops. Off to a good start here. Artillery, getting a little bit of love as well. Again, just another unit that hasn't seen a lot of competitive play. Also, I think it's really cool. I didn't realize Gentleman was working on this. He helped them translate the game to French, which is pretty awesome. And some shout-outs to various players who got over 1,000 points last season. Really awesome. So yeah, some really cool stuff in Tooth and Tail, up for some changes. Really sweet. And another thing we've got going on very, very soon is a new tournament. If you look underneath the stream you're watching now, we've got another in Jets VSL Qualnez series. I think we're up to 13 players, so I'd love to see us get up to 16 to have a solid, nice, even bracket. That would be really sweet. But we could probably even get more, so don't be shy, guys. Sign up for that. It's on custom maps. And I helped Jet pick out some custom maps for this event. So I can real quickly, I think did he kind of organize them together? Yeah, alright, so here's the maps we decided on for the event. I will be playing in this as well as casting, which I'm really excited about. Another thing that's cool about this tournament is it's going to be a little bit of gentleman style, where you play your maps at your own leisure and submit replays, and then Jet or I will cast those replays as time permits. So we got some returning maps here, and we've got some new ones. Again, I kind of put in my 2 cents, and then Jet also took my consideration into the map pool and made his own adjustments. So we've got Law and Order, a classic map from Eel. I think is pretty popular. I think this map is really great. It's got a cool design to it. And what I really like about Law and Order is the fact that it's kind of a large map, but the rush distance is so small, right? So that could still bring for some very aggro, aggressive games, or it can kind of flesh out into a macro match. We've got Highway 404. I mean, best Sakia's maps, man. I know he's not super active in the scene nowadays, but he's just such a good map maker. He did it for a very, very long time for another game. And all that experience really shows. I mean, his maps are just always really solid. So we included a few of those. We didn't include all of his maps, though, because we did want to showcase some of the new maps players have made. I think this is going to be cool, especially on the new patch where turrets and ferrets are more viable than they used to be. So maybe we'll see some cool interactions with this middle high ground. I think that would be really great. We've got Glacier, which is a Kalaru map. I like this map. I think it's a nice little mid-range, solid, standard positioning map. I think it's kind of interesting. Your natural base is on the low ground here, surrounded by high grounds around it. So that can make for some really cool games. Acropolis. I love this map. Shout out to Icy McSpicy. I really love the tile design on it. I think that's pretty unique compared to what we normally see. I haven't seen the map in its entirety, so I'd be interested to see what the whole thing looks like. But overall, I really like this tile set, and I think this is a great aggressive map for the pool. I like how there's this natural high ground right here with a little bit of no man's land in the middle on this low ground. This could make for some really cool interactions on where you're going to push. And I really like this third base concept where you've got a ramp to both sides, but the ramp to the main is a bit wider. So I think Acropolis will be a great, scrappy, short, kind of aggressive map. And of course, we have another best Sakua map. Again, his maps are just awesome. You know, he's had a lot of experience creating these things, and it's just great. We've seen Ginbu Ravine in several of these custom map tournaments. It's always a pleasure to play on. It's got a nice double high ground main with a natural right outside of it on the regular high ground, and then a third base on the low, and then finally a fourth in the corners. I think this is a definitely a solid map. Lots of attack paths in and out, and the middle's a little bit clunky. You know, you can go straight through, but you might find yourself in a convex versus concave situation. We've also got War Under the Blue Sky, which is a map submitted by Lego Man, which is kind of symmetrical horizontally, with your natural being fairly protective. Some pretty cool lore kind of RP doodads over here with your pig hanging out, male and female. So yeah, you got this nice natural base. You got a nice little high ground to defend the two, you know, with maybe defense or good positioning. And then expanding to the third and fourth is going to be very difficult. You know, once one player starts, you know, taking this area over, you know, imagine you got a balloon up there and you can pressure your opponent's bases. So it should make for some cool games. And last but not least, we have another map from Lego Man here, Serpent's Path. This is one of Jet's choices. I'm not sure if I saw this in the map pool. Maybe I missed it. But yeah, this map is kind of crazy. I think this kind of falls into one of our weird map categories. You have this like natural off to the side, a little bit of a third base. You know, you got these like pyramid things. So this is definitely a little bit of a wonky map, but should be a lot of fun. So don't be shy, guys. Sign up for the event. It's going to be a lot of fun. Again, it's going to be replay based, so you kind of, you know, complete the games at your own leisure. And we are also going Again, we are doing old patch replays tonight. I know everybody's excited for the new patch, and I've been playing that, interested to see how those sorts of games have been panning out, but I decided I normally do this. I do one more feast on the old patch when the new patch comes out, for two reasons. For one, just logistic purposes. I don't have any new patch replays yet. I need you guys to send them to me. And for two, you know, a lot of people submit games, and I try to be respectful of that, try to showcase as many as possible, so I wanted to get to as many as I could before tossing them in the bin. Unfortunately, there's always a handful of replays I don't get to when patches change, and we just kind of have to discard them, but I always do my best to include as many different players in this as I possibly can, so if I miss you, I apologize, but I think tonight we actually have... Every match is... Yeah, I think we have very, very little player overlap tonight, so I actually like this lineup. I think it'll be good. And alright, without any further ado, we got a full 12 on the docket, so we got a lot to go through. Sign up for Jets Tournament, guys. Sign-ups are going to end in less than 24 hours, so get in there, get that done, and let's hop into game number one. In the bottom, we've got Bratmo. And up top, his opponent, Vincent. Alright, we like to start things off with some silly Vincent versus Bratmo games. And again, they like to go with 1,000,000 units in their deck comps. One of the custom settings you can do. Yeah, Jet, we're not going to see that tonight. We're doing old patch replays, but we will see it on the next one. And Ziggy, I'm not sure if you or Jet submitted. If you shot me an email, I don't know. Either you or Jet were the first to submit. Sorry, man. We're doing old patch tonight. So that's cool. That means I already got a couple new patch replays ready to roll for tomorrow. This map is enormous, but with, like, no gristmills. Like, look at this. It's just an enormous forest map for the most part. This has got to be part of the settings. Like, they just put enormous as possible map with smallest amount of gristmills. I mean, look at this. Look how big this thing is. I don't think we ever see maps this large. And each player only has 2 bases. And Vincent's going to start off with a 7-farm Fox. I love these replays. Man, I love these replays. Alright, let's go. 7-farm Fox versus Cam into Pigeon. This is what I'm talking about here. Standard mill count? Oh my gosh. Alright, alright. I'm not afraid to do a little fast forwarding during slow parts. Says Bratmo scouted. Bratmo is not aware of the Fox coming out yet. And he still doesn't see it. This is a little bit of a mistake for Bratmo here. Never be shy to send your commander in on a suicide mission. Because if he did, he would have scouted that Fox Warren. But he's getting, you know, he's getting cams. He's getting snakes. These are things that are definitely good against the Fox. Keep in mind, this is before the self-detection change. This is old patch that we're doing tonight. So Bratmo should have a couple things to deal with this. He's even got mines, he's got turret, he's got artillery, so he's got a lot of anti-fox repellent spray in his deck. And Vincent, oh my god, Vincent, sneaking a base. Did Bratmo see that? No, he hasn't. Alright, Bratmo throwing down a turret. I love moving out with Lizard and Fox. It's really, really smart because they stay together since they're both fast. And the Lizards can do a little mine sweeping for your Fox, which is always a pain. Oh, gotta be careful, don't want to lose that commander. Getting a couple pop shots off on those pigs there. Very nicely done by Vincent. I've got to turn the music down just slightly for my own little ears. Actually, quite a bit. I'll turn it up in OBS, though. My poor little ears. There we go. That should still sound okay for the stream. Actually, let me turn that down a little bit. There we go. Perfect. And Bratmo getting into some owls. I love this from Vincent, man. Poor Bratmo has no idea. He's got some cams. I like this little cam mine combo here. Again, this is why it's always good to move around with your fox and lizard when you can. And Vincent's trying to get into some ferrets. Trying to sneak around the back door with the fox here. Bratmo just figured it out. Gets one shot off on the snake, but the double poison, the quadruple poison. This fox is dead in the water. Kills the snake, though. That fox actually got some okay value. Killed 2 pigs and a snake. Typically you want more for that, but you could argue it traded for more than itself. Since I would count the lost mining times of those pigs to be a relevant thing. And again, Bratmo is not aware of this hidden expansion at the 4 o'clock, but he's moving in with a very scary army here. He's got owls, he's got snakes and cams, and this little bit of a squad that Vincent has is going to have a rough time dealing with this. He backs out for now. Probably just wants to let those mice charge up and rinse and repeat. Vincent trying to get into a balloon. I don't know if that's going to be too slow or not. I think Bratmo could engage, man. He needs a little bit of tier 1 to buffer for his units. The mice will be nice, but he doesn't have that critical number of owls yet to where that mice is a severe... That mice count is a significant, you know, buffer. And this fox is moving in on the owl. One more shot, it's going to take it down. There it goes. Great value there for Vincent. Shutting down this top base here and keeping the attack going, but running into some chameleons. Doesn't quite trigger that mine. Ooh, gets that shot off. The chameleon does re-stealth the fox. Gonna die to the cams. Nicely done by Bratmo there. Vincent should have known better. He knew those cams were there, but he's gonna move in with his lizards, try to get some more damage done. The ferrets shelling at the turrets on the side. 4 ferrets is pretty deadly. And this might just be game. Looks like Bratmo's gonna push him away for now, but he's got no economy. And Bratmo's still not aware of this hidden base, unfortunately. Did not diligently scout the map. Dude, 10 units. 10 unit decks are crazy. Setting these cams back out for another trap. And Bratmo's in hot water now. I don't know if he's going to be able to deal with this. Good value with the cams. Actually losing the cams there, a little bit unfortunate. But Vincent just building up some core units here, these lizards. Lizards are pretty good against snakes and pretty decent against the owl too. Once the mice have been eliminated, can chase that thing down. And I think this is curtains for Bratmo. Once this base goes down, Bratmo's just not going to have anything left. Is he going to tap right here? Dude, 7 farm fox. Let's go. He's starving. And Vincent's gonna come in for the kill. Crazy Vincent versus Bratmo to start things off. Okay. Let's hop into match number 2. Over on the left, we've got Protocam rocking the triple tier 3. And up top, we got Eel. Illuminatus, everyone's favorite dev. Now, double tier 3 was pretty meta on this patch. I imagine it's not going to be unreasonable moving forward. Triple tier 3 is a little bit ridiculous. There are good players like Big Pimpintosh that make that kind of thing work. But you're really, really limiting your deck when you do that. I think it might be wise. A little bit of mole rush here from Protocam. These are typically easy to deal with as long as you scout it. Rush from Eel, rather. Protocam does scout it, and the pigs are already firing, but he needs to sell the farms. Yeah, sometimes it's right on the edge, and you like want to let the farm finish. But definitely should have sold that one. Protocam taking some hefty losses there. I love this pig just shooting down this this Warren. And Eel actually not here. He's trying to make it back in time. Proto cleaning that Mole Warren up. That's a big loss for Eel, so maybe that kind of evens things out here. Eel did manage to take out a pig, but wound up losing his Mole Warren for the process. Now Eel does have a couple moles like hanging out as well, not really doing anything. That's additional food that's kind of wrapped up. And we're going to stabilize from here. I think Protocam might have a slight lead, all things considered. But we're going to hop into a fairly even early game after this. Protocam going hard on the Moltec. This map has some real short rush distances with 2 attack paths, so that's kind of interesting. And other than that, a lot of mills. Again, a really weird map. Like, all this area over here is just nothing. There's this little cabin in the middle, or in the bottom. Eel trying to keep the pressure on with a little bit of a lizard rush. Nice clutch sell there by Protocam. I thought for sure he'd take some damage on that Warren. And Protocam's just defending with moles for the time being, trying to get into his own lizards. Yeah, what's the review on this cabin, Jet? I think it's nice, right? It's very secluded for those who favor privacy. It's got a little high ground. I enjoy that. You know, it's in the woods. Should be pretty easy to fish here. Maybe set up some rabbit traps and the like. It's quite a ways away from the war going on. So these are all good things. And Protocam trying to 1-base tier 3 here. Eel really needs to see this. 9 times out of 10 this doesn't work. I think the opportune time to take a tier 3 is typically when you're on like second base, like half sat or full saturation. But you can't get away with it on 1 base if it's not scouted. And so far Eel hasn't scouted it. He's trying to be sneaky and move his cams around and about. Manages to pick up a pig, very nicely done, and is gonna get the re-stealth on the cam. Nice moves there from Eel. Proto gonna sell off a Warren, get that Badger in the way. But the real problem here is Eel never scouted that Badger. And Eel really doesn't have anything that's gonna be good against it. Lizards can be good. They're fast enough to not get kited by the Badger, so they can kind of chase it down, but you need a critical mass of lizards. Protocam probably has enough tier 1 to buffer those lizards, but Eel's got the cams and the skunks, so maybe the cams and skunks can clear out the tier 1 from Protocam and then let his lizards chase down that Badger. But he's moving in with a nice timing. The Badger is not here yet. Protocam playing at a very big deficit. He lost his entire tier 1 army. He loses the second base. Now the Badger is here, but a lone Badger is gonna be enough. Eel decides to not take the chance. Realizes he's already got a bunch of damage done. He's gonna go ahead and go home. And kind of regroup. Protocam survived, but he did take a lot of damage from that previous attack. Maybe if he can micro this Badger well, but again, he doesn't have a lot of supporting army. These lizards are pretty good at chasing it down. The lizards all try to get in on it, but they wind up dying to the tier 1 and to the Badger itself. Gets the Badger pretty low though, and without pigeons or nearby water to help increase the heal rate, that is a pain. You know, low HP Badger, it's really hard to re-engage with it. However, Protocam is caught between a rock and a hard place because he needs to get as much value out of this Badger as possible. 1 HP on the Badger. Alright, let that Badger take a bath, man. You got some water in territory. I'll double up the healing rate. The Badger needs to take a swim. There we go. It definitely does work that way. Pretty sure. Pre-Bimbo. You've said that before, but I believe you're wrong. I could be wrong, but pretty sure you do heal faster in water in your territory. Skunk's trying to come in and harass. 1 gets taken out, though. And this is starting to look better for Protocam. Mowing down most of these tier 2, and actually a fantastic attack, or defense rather, for Protocam. I'm gonna go ahead and heal this Badger up. Yeah, see how fast it's healing? It wouldn't heal that fast if it was just standing in territory. Alright, Eel trying to get whatever damage done he can. That last engagement was very bad for him. He decided to sell off the skunks and get up as much tier 1 plus the cams as possible. Yeah, Jet backing me up. I figured that was right. Because I do it a lot in my games. Alright. Protocam harassing the second. Honestly, I think Protocam's got this now. The 1 HP Badger was super clutch. Eel's probably really upset about that. If he would have killed that Badger when it dropped to 1 HP, obviously he would have just won the game from there. And Eel also got a little bit overzealous with that attack in. He had the cams and skunks, but those aren't exactly the units you want against the Badger. You know, the ideal tier 2 to fight a Badger with is Falcons and Snakes. And Eel did not have either of those. Both players are starving Marvin now. But Eel is gonna tap. Oh my god, Eel won? Eel won that. I zoomed out at the last second. Oh my, I gotta rewatch. Hang on. No way. Hopefully this doesn't take too long. He took the last mill with those lizards? Oh my god. I want to see that, because I thought for sure Eel was just tapping out. Sick plays from Eel there. We're just going to 5 times through it, because that was awesome. That was awesome. I want to see that. Credit where credit's due, man. We're halfway through it. It won't take very long. Proto didn't see it either, did I? Oh, man. I love that when I'm, like, observing and I miss things, because I'm just like, damn, the player must have really not known. Yeah, good attack from Eel. See, this is where Eel would have just won the game if he killed the Badger in this follow-up attack. It's always risky to try to do this. I lost the game against Tosh earlier because I'd done something similar. My Fox was really low, and then I committed to an attack. And I knew 1 stack of poison would get me, but I tried anyways because I needed that damage, and I didn't have any water to help heal it quicker. But really, you know, units like Badgers and Foxes, you really want to let them heal up all the way. So yeah, it looked like Protocam. Oh, his cams got it. Yeah, because he comes back and he cleans up the lizards, and then Protocam's like, alright, I win. But these sneaky, sneaky chameleons come in here and win the game. That is crazy, dude. Good job by Eel. Nicely done. Okay, let's keep it going. Match number 3. On the left, we've got the wonderful Amistria. And her opponent to the right, Cassadon. Reminds me of like Cassadon from League of Legends. The Mage Champion. Okay, Amistria with her trademark barbed wire here. Tier 1, Tier 2 army. This is kind of an interesting composition. And keep in mind, this is the old patch. And both players are running turrets. So that's kind of cool to see. This map definitely looks good for Cassadon here. He's got a nice natural on the high ground. He's got a third right here. You know, you can kind of just expand out. Meanwhile, Amistria does have a natural base and try to transition into a third here, so I guess that's not too bad. I think 9 times out of 10, you know, if you got access to 3 bases, you really can't complain. Like, yeah, Cassadon's got more, but as Amistria, you've got to take that into consideration, and I think that is something her deck is designed for anyways, to kind of want to end the game around the mid game, you know, not go to the hyper late game. She doesn't have any tier 3. She does have Falcons, which scale nicely into the late game, but other than that, you know, kind of got this bruiser deck with Squizzard, Skunk, Falcon. I've been running Squizzard, Skunk, Falcon today a lot on the new patch and really been enjoying it. I think it's a nice little combination of units. And meanwhile, Cassadon looks like he's got that double tier 3, which again is pretty meta at this time. It's hard to say it's not meta anymore. I don't see any changes that would really say, you know, hey, double tier 3 is not going to work anymore. A lot of times players like to do things like take a Wolf Badger. Wolf Fox is a lot of fun too. But again, you know, it's got its ups and downs. Fitting that second tier 3 into your deck is going to make you weaker in other areas. But I think Cassadon's got a nice power of units here to kind of make up for that. I think trying to take the turret with double tier 3 is probably a little too much. I think he needs another core unit. You know, Lizard, Toad, Chameleon. The Toads are going to be nice against the Lizards here, but I imagine Cassadon's mainly running those Toads to fight against enemy Chameleons or to take advantage of their structure crit. So building a turret here, not really necessary at this point, but I don't want to hark on Cassadon too much. I think he's playing just fine. Typically when you see your opponent's also expanding, but then again, I don't think Cassadon knows just yet. He knows now. And Amisha is building up a swell of lizards. 12 lizards already. I don't think she knows about the toads yet. Knows that there's a second base with a couple turrets there. And if you see your opponent hunkering down like that, one of the best things you can do is always just macro up. You know, spend the money that they're putting into defense on farms. And you really got to scout. Yeah, Cassadon. All right, I'm on Team Cassadon now. Sorry, Amistria. Just straight up going for this Wolf Badger here. Amistria trying to move in. Her commander gets really low. Needs to be careful, but this Cam Toad combo absolutely dominates the Lizards. And now Cassadon is prone for a counterattack. Cassadon, the absolute mad lad here. Going on the offensive while building double tier 3. Very ballsy to do this. Very bold indeed. To just grab both tier 3 at the same time. Like this is like makes your mouth water if you're a tier 3 fan like I am. But this is incredibly risky. You know, if Amishirio scouting was a bit more on top of it. Actually, she doesn't know about it. I just saw the icons there on the minimap. If Amishirio was a little more on top of the scouting, she could really identify this and come in and break it. But she's getting Falcons, which is a nice start. Falcons are a great unit in response to the Badger. And she doesn't quite know what's going on, though. Maybe she can infer that there is at least one tier 3 on the way, and I think that's exactly what's happening. I like this transition out of Amistria. Getting away from the lizards, still keeping a couple, which I think is great. You know, ideally you want those 3 lizards to trade into their 6 toads, right? And get some value out of that. Very easy to do unless your opponent's really on top of their toad micro, but I doubt Cassadon will be because he's going to be more focused on microing his Badger and Wolf. And Amisha is about to know about the Badger, but again, I think her star senses kind of tingled seeing those turrets there. You know, big signal, hey, don't attack me. Why don't you want to get attacked? Probably for a tier 3. And not the best Badger micro of the world. Amisha cleans that up very nicely. She did have those Falcons, though, which is exactly what you want in that kind of situation. A good amount of units on the ground to buffer and these bursty flying units in the air. And that might just be it. Cassadon taps out. So cool attempt from Cassadon. Not quite executed well enough. And really good game sense from Amisha to kind of infer, without directly seeing it, that my opponent's probably going for something like a Badger to build those Falcons. Those Falcons, always a great response in tier 3 outside of the Fox, of course, which kind of hard counters the Falcon. I don't think the complaints that the game doesn't have aggression are warranted. This game has a lot of aggression, to be honest. If you take the smallest of missteps in the early game against a good player, they could just run you over completely. It happens to me all the time. sometimes out of frankly disrespect. Like, I think I can get away with stuff against certain players, and I underestimate them, and they come in on me. But you know, a good example is, you know, if you open up Gristmill into a couple farms with a bunch of tier 1, your opponent just railed that tier 1 out, they will kill you. Unless the map is just really in your favor, the rush distances are too far, especially with things like toads and moles. I think Tooth and Tail's highly aggressive at the moment. You know, there's a lot of good ways. How do I put it, though? The aggression, and it's the same way as it is in StarCraft 2. Like, aggression is kind of a response. Like, it's mapped out. You know, there's a reason in StarCraft all the pros don't just rush a spawning pool and go in. Or double racks. I mean, double racks is kind of a weird exception. But again, the double racks is trying to not get scouted. That's kind of similar to like a 5-farm double in Tooth and Tail. If it's not scouted, then it can do a ton of damage. If it is scouted, you know, the Zerg can respond appropriately. But in general, like, aggression in StarCraft is often dictated on identifying and exploiting a weakness in somebody's build. And I think, yeah, Innovation does it 3 times. I know, Maro does it a lot too. But again, you know, if the Zerg scouts the double racks, 9 times out of 10, they shut it down. You're basically gambling. And it's the same way in Tooth and Tail a little bit. You know, if you're going to do a 5-farm double, you ideally want to put those warrens in spots that aren't going to get scouted. And if your opponent doesn't put it together, it's a little harder to get away with it in Tooth and Tail, though. Because it's real easy to count food and, you know, scout the main and say, oh, hey, they should have 2 farms right now, and they don't. They must have 2 warrens somewhere. But a lot of times, aggression is geared towards exploiting weaknesses and builds, and I think Tooth and Tail is the same way. But I get rushed all the time, man, from good players. You know, go up against Haru on the ladder, and then tell me there's no aggression or something. But anyways, let's hop into match number 4, guys. Out of sync. We'll give it a shot. Maybe it's not a big deal. Hopefully it's not a big deal. We'll find out. This might be the Falcon hotfix. In the bottom, we've got Karaticus and his opponent to the right, Epicosity. Yeah, you can stop scouts, but you can't stop scouts that early. But I'm just saying, you know, let's say it's a small map, right? And your opponent does something like go for a really fast tier 2. You could totally just build a couple squirrel warrens and moles and push in and kill them. 100%. Look at this, Epicosity. Trying to put this rush in a weird spot. And Karaticus is going to come in. You know, he's going to notice a little bit of food missing, but maybe not. You know, this looks pretty normal. Oh, it looks normal because Epicosity sold the Warren. That ward was a little bit too far away. Maybe Epicosity thought the base was there, you know? But I think 5-farm rushes work out a lot better when they're not scouted. Like, if imagine Karaticus did like a 5-farm lizard rush and put his Warren like up here, you know? And then Epicosity comes in and scouts and sees 60 food is missing. Well, maybe they just didn't queue a farm. You know, you're thinking about it, but you don't quite see it 100%. Or you put it like right there, you know. Both players going into fast second bases. And a lot of warrants to defend it. Yo, I'm actually too nervous nowadays to go for an 8-farm into mill straight up. Ever since a long time ago. I think Araloo was one of the first guys to start doing this, because that was really meta for a long time. You go 8-farm mill into a warren, into a farm or two. Assuming your opponent also took a mill. But turns out with the new moles, if you see your opponent go straight up 8-farm mill, you just build a mole warren right there. And your opponent's going to be in a lot of trouble. So this is a cool situation we find ourselves. A little bit of second base chicken. You know, in these phases of the game, you want to stay 1 or 2 farms ahead of your opponent. You want to be looking for things like a tier 2 going down. You need to be careful. You need to be counting tier 1 warrants. I don't think Epicasi actually got in to see the scout on the second farm. That is rough. This is actually a great example of what the chat was just talking about a little bit of, you know, the positioning. But this is also has to do with the map. Like, it's really difficult for Epicasi to actually get in here and scout this second base now because the lizard's here, because of 1 entry. And Epicasi, all right, I like it. Already party, already going down. Meanwhile, Karatakis is throwing down the Badger. And again, you know, I like this Badger play because it's really difficult for Epicasi to scout. And he's thrown the Badger Warren all the way down here. So I think he might get away with it. Karatakis moves in, and he's going to be very happy with what he sees. You know, he just sees a lot of tier 1. He sees an artillery. He might be a little concerned, though, seeing all these moles coming out from Epicasi. Moles are typically a unit you build at the last minute when you want to attack, and Karatakis really just wants to buy another minute's worth of time. You know, he's kind of a paper tiger here. He's trying to flex, but he doesn't have a lot, you know, and he's got a lot of investment in these kind of vicarious units like pigeons and ferrets, you know, that aren't the best in direct fights all the time. And this is also rough for lizards here. They gotta run in and find a tile to really get anything done. So, nice little push from Epicasi, but it didn't do enough damage. I think maybe Epicasi could have kept going there, because his army is very, very kiteable. This Badger is just gonna come out and Shrek things. And this artillery does a decent job of covering these 2 bases. But I would have liked, yeah, I was going to say, I would have liked to see it a little bit further forward to cover the 3rd. And Kurata, nice little kill on that Gristmill there right when it spawns. And Karatakis moving in with this Badger. Epicasi trying to delete the rest of the army. I think that's the play when you don't have any units that can't get kited by this thing, but this is not looking good. Karatakis has all the pigeons here. His Badger's blown through the first portion of this army. Some Falcons here for Epicasi, though, really going to DPS that Badger down instantly. And now Karatakis is not left with much. He's got these ferrets and these pigeons. But again, these are like auxiliary units. You know, the core of his army is just a handful of lizards. It's going to be difficult to poke in with these ferrets, with this artillery shelling at you as well. It looks like Karatakis is rebuilding pretty nicely, but Epicasi is still in this game. I like his unit comp here. Really needs as many Falcons as he can get. Maybe you should consider selling this back artillery for additional Falcons, going up to 6 or 8. Falcons can even be not half bad against lizards once critical mass has been made. But Epicasi going for a direct retreat here. I think this was a big mistake. Losing a couple Falcons on the run there. Nice little victory for your Karatakis. And he's going to go ahead and start working on his 3rd base on the back end of that. This is starting to look a little bit bleak for Epicasi. He's got to expand into a 3rd. But with Karatakis kind of securing that ground where the 3rd that he wants is, it's going to be a lot easier said than done. Ooh, Karatakis even has the woof up here. These artillery are keeping Epicasi alive, though. Karatakis can't hard commit in, but it's only a matter of time if Epicasi does not manage to secure a 3rd base. These second bases are going to start going fallow fairly shortly. Kiraticus is going to go around the back. But it is also covered from this artillery. The other artillery. Kiraticus is going to hard commit, though. And the Badger does go down. Bit of an overstep there for Kiraticus. And Epicasi is going to make the most of this. Fighting back with the Falcons, with the Squirrels, with the Pigeons. Oh, this might be it for Epicasi. He's moving in, trying to deal some critical damage. I think at this point, you sell off the artillery, build as much tier 1 as you possibly can. Kiratic is blocked on a lot of his units. You should probably sell off his Ferrets and Badger. Oh, his commander doesn't quite micro the Ferret away in time, and Epicosity just using a few of these Falcons to deal as much damage as possible. Sniping another pig, almost actually, the Pigeons coming in for the heals. Look at that pig with the buff. Pew-pewing away. Is going to get zapped upon, though, eventually. Yeah, I think Epicasi really needs to sell those arties at this point. Every little bit of food really matters. These wolf-buffed lizards are going to get in, knock out a Falcon immediately. That's absolutely huge. But Epicasi just trying to tick this Gristmill down, slowly but surely. Which would put them at parity economically. Oh, but Kiraticus jumping in. So many pigeons in the air. Actually getting something done. But again, Kiraticus just can't counterattack in because he's artillery cannons. There we go. Epicasi decides to sell down on one of them. To try to reestablish the army with whatever he can. And the Ferret Siege continuing. Ooh, might get a war in there. Again, these buffed up lizards are going to run in and knock out these Falcons. Lizards awesome against Falcons when they're unattended. I love the Falcon counter micro too, just trying to prevent these Ferrets from being able to get in and harass, but needs to be careful with these lizards. The 5 pigeons though, heal that Falcon up. The economies are pretty bleak though. Can Epicosity manage to bust out and secure this 3rd base? This wolf buff though might start overrunning his opponent. And yeah, Epicasi knows what's up and taps out. Really cool back and forth game there. Alright, let's hop into match number 5. Again, desynced, but probably just the Falcon patch, if I had to guess. And the bottom, we've got Pigeon Rush. Their opponent up top, Meek. Okay, both players running Squirrel Cam, but other than that, some pretty different decks here. I like the spawn for Meek better. Meek's got kind of everything they're ever going to need right here up on this high ground. Could even throw up a couple balloons. And this Ferret Owl Balloon composition is pretty interesting. Lizard Mole as well. Pigeon Rush, meanwhile, only running squirrels in that core tier 1 spot. The pigeons aren't really a core unit. They're there to just synergize with the skunks and badgers. Yeah, let's see how these two want to play it out. Meek with a little bit of a cheeky mole rush here. Pigeon Rush doesn't see it yet, which means it might be too late. Pigeon actually could get home in time and sell off this pig. Sell it off! Oh, no, it doesn't quite get it in time. Good bit of value there for Pigeon Rush, or for Meek, rather. Rush was more concerned with throwing down this Warren, which is what you need to do as well, but definitely should have prioritized selling off that pig. And is trying to get into a quick mill. Meanwhile, Meek is going to follow up that successful attack with a 7-farm triple on lizards. Really wants to get this attack up and running as fast as possible. Needs to go home once he pays for all these lizards, though, and queue up that last farm, in my opinion. Like, you don't want to block the lizard production when you do this sort of thing with a queued farm. You want to get all those lizards out and then throw down that other farm. But no, Meek, not going for that 7th farm. But now he's got his 9 lizards to run around with. But I don't think he moved out quite sharply enough. Oh, maybe Pigeon's not going to get a cell again on this pig. Lots of damage coming in already. And Meek should be very happy with this opening. I wonder if Meek just doesn't realize they don't have that 8th farm. Builds a farm on this second base, though. So there we go. We got the 8 farms one way or another. It's going to continue moving out with the lizards. I actually kind of like Lizard Ferret. I think it's a unit composition that works very nicely. We see Dino do it quite a bit. One mine here, gonna go off, but actually fantastic mine hit. Really bruising up all these lizards. And of course getting value by killing one. It looks like we're stabilizing a bit into a big game here. Ooh, and Meek. Meek! Oh my god. Double owl. 330 double owl. Pigeon Rush, you need to scout it. What's nice about doing something crazy about owls while you're like this, rather, double tier 3, is, you know, when you're constantly harassing with these lizards, which, by the way, these mines have been doing awesome with. You know, good job by Rush, really putting down some mines in opportune places here. But yeah, when you're like harassing this much with the lizards, it makes it hard to go scout. So doing something absolutely bananas, like double tier 3 before the 5-minute mark, kind of makes sense strategically on the back of like trying to keep your opponent pinned down. But I also think Rush's scouting is just a little bit lacking this game in general. Rush does go for a badger, though. Badgers are quite nice against owls. However, these owls will be here much, much faster than that badger. And again, Pigeon Rush just hasn't gotten the chance to get in there and scout in quite some time. He's constantly worried about these lizards harassing him. This is really smart by Meek. I like this a lot. He's kind of bleeding off a lot of lizards, but he has gotten a lot of value with them as well. He's killed at least 3 farms, you know, traded for some mines, and just gonna go straight up cam owl. This is really good as long as your opponent doesn't have falcon. Alright, the double owl is here now. Bleh, bleh, bleh. Bleh, bleh. Alright, Meek moving into her ass. And Pigeon Rush is going to be taken completely off guard by this. He is putting together some good stuff against Owl, though. Skunks and cams and badgers, but he just doesn't have anything here to deal with these mice, which absolutely decimate that second base for free. This is just going from bad to worse. Pigeon Rush isn't super far behind in economy, though, all things considered. Until this main base totally fallows out. Mika's going to come in again, just with free units. It gets a little bit... Actually, no kills. Not a single thing died for Pigeon Rush. Yeah, the cam skunk is actually really good against mice. And Pigeon Rush needs to hit a timing here, and he knows it. He's even building that other mill as insurance in case of a base race. Meek is none the wiser. He's coming in with the mice again to harass more and more. Meek is starting to decimate the base of his opponent. If Meek goes straight for this gristmill, maybe he gets it before this other one finishes. No, it looks like it is going to finish in time, but it was very close. Meek might have been able to win the game straight up if he went, if he focused down on that mill. But Pigeon Rush is actually going to clean this up. After all the harassment He took all game long. Nicely done. Alright, don't forget, everybody, you've got less than 24 hours to sign up for Jets Tournament. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's just a standard challenge event. It's going to be custom maps. We've got a map pool for that already decided. And it's going to be at your own leisure. I think the way it's going to work is you're going to have a week to complete your round with your opponent. You know, you just kind of do it whenever the times work out for both of you. Don't be shy. Participate in the tournament. It's a lot of fun. Even if you're new or an intermediate player, I still highly recommend you join up. It doesn't cost anything, you know, and it's always just really fun being part of the scene and getting involved in these events. I love playing in tournaments. I love the rush you get. I'm kind of a competitive guy. And most of the time, I just end up casting these things, but I joined this one, so I'll be casting some of it and playing in it too. So I'm excited for that. You can find the info in the events section underneath the stream you're watching right now. So don't delay. Sign up today. He's going to end sign up sometime tomorrow in a European time zone that I don't know the direct translation of offhand. So yeah, no reason to not just sign up now if you're interested. What are we up to? I think last time I checked we were at like 13 players. Yeah, we're still at 13. I'd like to see at least 16. You know, get a nice even round of 16 bracket. That'd be really cool. So yeah, sign up, guys. It's gonna be fun, and it's actually just in time for this new patch, and a lot of people are playing lately, which is really cool. Like, if you look at the Steam charts, pretty dang popular today. Maybe 69 24-hour peak. Nice. I don't know, maybe the patch announcement got a lot of people up in arms. I'd love to see this game active, man. It's a ton of fun. Easy to hop into and learn. You know, definitely high skill ceiling. You know, in the random maps. Oh, 90% off. That's why. Okay, I did not realize. Yeah, I was like, there's got to be something going on for there to be this many gosh darn players. Which is a shame because I played a couple in ranked and kind of blapped them pretty hard. Hopefully I didn't scare him away. Yeah, 90% off. Tooth and Tail is $2 right now. Dang, I should be streaming to the Steam page. I did not realize. So if you are new to this game, welcome, guys. We have a great scene. Definitely get into the Pocketwatch Discord. That's where you can find all the information. And yeah, let's keep going, guys. Let's hop into the obligatory P-Boop 2v2. Spawning to the right, we've got Premium Bow and Dino. Their opponents to the left, Mr. Ziggy and James. Damn, this is a very decked out 2v2. Lots of great players here. Yeah, a lot of people have been in ranked today too because of the new patch, which is awesome. Definitely not the first time ever that's happened though. I've done quite a few laddering sessions where lots and lots of players were active at once. You know. Okay, let's see what we got going on in this game. Premium Bow! Old P-Boop with the 4-farm fox. Let's go. Their opponent already scouted it though. However, if Dino just plays really straight up and defensively here. Dude, ranked was fun tonight. I had a lot of fun playing ranked. I had some really great matches against Tosh and Amari. Going back and forth, winning some, losing some. A few new faces too. A couple good games against Snatch. Yeah, lots of player variety. Absolutely. I love the new patch, man. It's very my style, though. Like, I like ferrets, I like MGs, I like Fox. So those units all getting some love makes me pretty happy. And I really like the stealth change as well. I think people are overestimating it. Like, I didn't see a single mine all day today, and I don't think it's that drastic, because you do have to stand still. That's one thing I noticed. Like, if you just run by a mine, you're not going to pick it up. Your commander's got to stand totally still to scout it. But just, I don't comment too much on balance typically, because it can be a divisive thing. But I was not a big fan of the mine meta, because I felt like it lacked counterplay. Here comes that fox from P-Boop, though. Same with chameleons. Chameleons really lack a lot of counterplay, in my opinion. You know, being able to like stealth your cam across the map and pick off a farm or something. There are situations where there's just nothing you can do about that. So I like the buffs on the different units here. Maybe we'll see a wider range in the meta now. Look at that, just line of mines. P-Boop saw them going down, though. Yeah, I really like the stealth reveal. I think the game's needed it for a long time. And it's not as good as I thought. Like, I wasn't able to... Like, I would know where the chameleons were. I think it was just because I was new to playing with it. But there was a lot of matches, like, I knew where the chameleons were, and I tried to unstealth them. And wouldn't. And Amari commented in Discord, one time I tried that, the cam was like one tile away from me. Yeah, ferrets getting a buff is really fun. Ooh, P-Boop! A couple mines get set off by the lizards there. I mean, I think ferrets needed a buff. I'm not sure if ferrets needed a buff, or if the meta just dictated that they weren't as good. I think ferrets are typically as good as defenses in a lot of situations, and defense just hasn't been that great lately since moles are so dominant, as well as toads, which both structure crits. But I think statistically, there's no arguing the ferrets have been weak for quite some time. It's been a very long time since we've seen ferrets utilized in any high-tier competitive matches that I've seen, or you know, in tournaments, or even submitted to replays and stuff. But I think you also need to understand what ferrets are good for and what they're not. You know, you can't build ferrets immediately and expect them to go toe-to-toe with, like, chameleons. I mean, in an ideal scenario, meta-wise, you know, every unit is viable, right? We can't always get there. A lot of... Actually, I feel like we're pretty close. Pre-Bo losing that fox there. Finally getting some revenge from Ziggy and James. Man, this game has just been a bloodbath. Like, I've just been talking about balance while this thing plays in the background. Pre-Bo seems like he's in a good spot, though. You know, he's the only one here with an established second base. Green and red really marching forward, trying to get more done. Yeah, I think we want most units to be viable, and the game's starting to feel like that. Right? I mean, turrets are definitely viable. I utilize turrets to win matches against a lot of top-level players today. That HP buff really helped. I'm not sure about artillery cannon, but artillery cannon is one of the kind of the exceptions to the rule. Like, I think people are fine if artillery cannon is a little bit of a meme unit. Sometimes it can work though. Like, I still remember, actually the last Vyshel Quelnez tournament we did, Imari used an artillery cannon on a high ground and won the game from it. I think it might have been like the tournament winning match. Artie has slept on. I think Artie's a meme unit, man. I don't think we want artillery to be like a really standard unit in the first place, right? Because that could make for a really toxic meta. Like, do you guys remember like the balloon meta, for example? The balloon meta sucked, dude. Like, that just sucked to play. You know, really what we want in a meta is fun games with diversity, where you feel like I was watching Tasha's stream earlier, and he said something along the lines of just play what you want. And Tosh is a really good example of that. I feel like Tosh is one of the high-level players that really has a range of units he could use effectively. Is this actually a premium bow loss? But that's where we want Tooth and Tail, you know? Everybody's got a favorite unit, right? And you want to be able to play with your favorite unit. Sometimes you make it work even if it's not top tier or competitive. But as long as it's viable. I think that's what people are looking for viability. But, you know, there are certain units, I would argue, I don't want to be meta units, like balloons and mines. I think mines are awesome when it's like a surprise thing. You know, where it's like, oh, they didn't expect me to have mines, and I'm really good with mines. And I'm going to make it happen. But when it's like, everybody's running mines every game, you know, to me, that's not fun. But some people like it. And hey, that's cool too. Ziggy's staying in. This was a crazy game. I feel kind of bad I didn't really cast it. Just kind of observed it. But it looks like Premium Bow is going to win it with the double Fox here. The 120 Artie meta. Oh my god, I forgot about the 120 Artie. Like, the original Mole meta was a little bit toxic. Because it got to the point, if you were a good enough player, you could just win with the moles early, even if you did the quote-unquote right response. You would have to do like a 5-farm double defensively, and just hope they're mole rushing you, because if they don't mole rush in that situation, then you're so far behind in economy. So I think that was really toxic. I know a lot of people are like, oh, the original moles, that was the best days. Look at Premium Bow finishing in this game with style. The March of the Moles. I actually really like the modern moles. I think we finally got them in a good spot. Yeah, the balloon meta was toxic. I'm not a big fan of the mine meta either. I'm glad that might be ending. And, you know, I think units like balloons and artillery and mines should be viable, but they shouldn't be so strong that you're, like, dumb not to use them. You know what I mean? Moles are more balanced now than they've ever been. I agree 100%. 100%. I really like that you can pressure with moles pre-8 farms and kind of force a dance with your opponent, you know? Or if they mess up in that dance, they can take some damage, but generally, it's, you know, it's a little dance. You're just kind of shoulder checking them. But I think the moles have a perfect role in being this unit where it's like, oh, I just realized my opponent's going for a 1-base Fox or something like that. Let me just build a few Mole Warrens and punish them for being greedy. Like, moles are a very punishing unit now. It's like, I found an exploit in your build order, and I'm just going to kill you. Yeah, I agree 100%, Witty Pun. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on meta, man. And I think we're getting to a good spot, to be honest. We'll have to see how this patch plays out. You know, it's still early, obviously. I actually like that about the new moles, though. Jet, I agree with you 100%. Having some variety in the opening builds is really fun. You know, possibilities where you can get punished for just going straight 8 farms. It used to be back in the day, and Chip still does this when he plays from time to time. But harking back to the original mole meta, you know, you would have to go 5 farm Warren. Does anybody remember that? Like October, November of 2017? Like, you'd have to go 5 farm Warren was the standard opening. You go 5 farm Squirrel Warren into 8 farms. And that was kind of the safe build, you know. But I don't see what the big deal is, because it's like if I see someone build a mole warren against me, I just sell my farm at the last minute, right? And they don't get anything done with it. Build a warren next to my living pigs on the other side. They come in, harass the moles, have to sell the warren. They lose a little bit of money off the damaged moles. And they go back, and we both build our 8 farms. Their 8th farm was delayed too for the mole rush, so... I don't know. I was getting mole rushed all day today, and I never had a problem with it. But let's continue on for match number 7. At the bottom, we've got Bendove. His opponent to the left, Mochaccino. Yeah, but see, Jet, if you do that, and they don't sell, right, and then they stay on the 6 farm double while you went for 8 farm more, and you're in trouble. But one thing that a lot of players mess up, I mess this up too sometimes, because I generally have, I don't want to give away my 6 strats too much, but I generally like to do a macro opening. Before I start bobbing and weaving in the mid-game. So, you know, I'd like to do things like build an 8 farm Warren into a mill, right? But some maps, even that is too greedy. You know, on a lot of maps, it's not. I think that's one interesting aspect of the build order that is kind of on the fly because the RNG of the maps with the differences in rush distances. You know, you could spawn on a map where you could go safely 8 farm Warren tier 2, and you could spawn on another map where if you try going 8 farm Warren tier 2, your opponent just kills you. And I really like that about Tooth and Tail. Like, you need to consider the map even in your opening build order. There are maps where going 5 farm double is viable, right? Even if your opponent scouts it. The rush distance is so small, you probably can still get something done. And there are maps where if you try to go 5 farm double, it'll be totally useless. You know, the rush distance is so far, your opponent can basically 8 farm Warren and be fine. Mochaccino and Bendove going for quick tier 2s here. The only difference is Mochaccino hopping into that second base a little bit faster. Has Mocha scouted the tier 2 yet? He has not. So far, Mocha's build is a little bit greedy. He hasn't committed any farms yet, though. I think now that he's seen that his opponent is building a tier 2, he can feel safe enough to queue at least 1 farm and not be under imminent death threats of a tier 1 rush. I like these couple mines here for Mocha in the middle. And Bendove's actually taking an aggressive expansion here. Pretty interesting. I like that because it secures these other bases. This map is actually really good for Bendove, though, if the game goes long enough. Ooh, Cam setting off one of those mines. Bendove trying to sneak this Cam into position. Oh, it actually dies! Big yikes there. Nice pickup for Mochaccino. Trading a Cam for a mine. Yeah, we got a nice little macro game on our hands here. Mochaccino, a little bit in the tech lead so far. I think Mochaccino is very comfortable in macro games. This is kind of where he shines. Mochaccino is also a pretty good player at pulling the trigger. Pretty good at identifying when they've got an advantage. But for now, just going to hang out. Bindove working on that tier 3 Warren. Where's it hidden? In a pretty decent spot. Not somewhere where Mocha might scout. I think Mocha trying to come in and scout would probably go this way and miss it. So that is a little bit of an interesting decision. More Chameleon harass here. Triggering a mine, but this time the Chameleons get out scot-free. Mocha has not scouted that tier 3 yet, but is going for his own boar. And the army compositions that they're putting together, I kind of like Bindove's better, as long as he's got the good Badger micro. No pigeons here from either player. Great scout from Mocha. Gonna see that tier 3 Warren immediately. It is gonna have a proper minute to respond. That's very, very important because it takes about a minute for your tier 2 buildings to finish producing both units, right? 20 seconds to build it, 20 seconds for each unit. So if you see a tier 3 Warren while it's still building, you know, you've got 60 seconds. So you can sell off some tier 1 and just go really hard into Falcons, for example, or Snakes. Falcons and Snakes, typically the best units at dealing with tier 3. Bindove still trying to move and groove with these cams. Did he ever scout the boar? He didn't, and that's a little bit of a problem. Going for double Badger here, actually. You definitely want to be at least 4 Falcons. I think if he sees the boar, you know, maybe you go as far as up to 6, especially if you got Chameleons there. You can sell off a lot of that tier 1 and transition to other units. Bindove is going to move in with this attack, though. He's got his Badger here. Mochaccino needs to get that Badger targeted down as soon as possible. Great skunk gas coverage on the whole army, though. Bindove doing a good job with this micro so far. The Badger should be able to take down the boar. Nicely done. Is going to back out for now. Great job by Bindove keeping his Badger alive, but needs to be careful. These Falcons are still a threat, and Mochaccino's going in, but does not get it. 2 HP left on this Badger. Take that Badger for a swim, man. Let it get some HP back. Decent defense from Mocha. He didn't die. But definitely a better engagement there for Bindove. Trying to get up to triple tier 3. There he is, sitting that Badger in the water. Good man. Man, Bindove is actually going to get into triple tier 3 here, and he's setting up this minefield for maybe when Mochaccino starts chasing down, you know, when only the Badgers are left. Does Mochaccino know about it? If he does, he'll probably start suiciding the squirrels into it to clear it out, so I don't think he knows about this minefield. And Bindove is going to start the engagement right at it. A couple of his Falcons going down immediately. That's 2 Badgers, though. As long as they can get in there and stay revved up, they got the Chameleons on the front line to buffer a little bit. And these Badgers are so low. That minefield went off, too. And Mochaccino is actually going to chase him down and corner this last Badger. It falls. And that turns out to be a great engagement for Mochaccino. I'd probably sell off the tier 3, a lot of the tier 2, and just mass up squirrels and go in at this point. But it's good for him that he keeps the Falcons, because another tier 3 is on the way. I would not expect that for Mocha. Seeing that Badger there, I'd be like, what the heck? Bindove is just building constant Badgers. This is silly. Take it easy, Lego man. He's going to try to get in here and deny this third base for Mocha, but lots of Falcons in the air. And the Falcons from Bindove going down immediately is a big part of this. You want to keep this Badger isolated, but the Rev, Mochaccino does not have the critical mass of units. The Badger remains, denies that third base. Bindove needs to get his own third base up and running, though. There it is. Mochaccino did commit to another boar, manages to get that out. Decent comp that Mocha's putting together here. 4 Falcons is a good number. Ideally, you want to get up to 6 or even 8 when you can. Dodging this minefield for the most part. Before it gets the job done. I think 2 sometimes isn't enough. Alright, Mochaccino bringing it back for the time being. Doesn't want to take any big chances. Now, what Mochaccino does have going for him here is he was able to kill off a couple of those second base farms from Bindove, so he has been enjoying a nice economic lead for the past few minutes. So these double Badgers are starting to shred through, not targeting down these Falcons though, just trying to keep these Badgers moving and grooving, and deletes Mochaccino's army yet again. But Bindove doesn't want to commit to the killing blow yet. He knows how valuable these Badgers are. He's going to come home. He's going to put him in the water, let him heal. Getting a nice, refreshing dip in the lake. But again, Mochaccino's got a little bit of economy still. I like this unit comp that he's putting together. If you can get up to that 4 Falcon number, that's really what you want. These Badgers nice and healed up. Gonna come in and try to deliver the killing blow. Mochaccino's resilience has been very impressive this game. He's got a lot of money in the bank. Maybe he was hoping to save that for a few farms on that second base. Or third base, rather. Bindove is going to take that farm, but again, in most of these engagements, Bindove just loses his own Falcons very quickly. One Badger falls. The other Badger getting close, and Mochaccino makes it happen. Gonna sell off some squirrels, get a third base going, and try to do a counterattack here. Bindove does not have the economy to afford any more tier 3. Gonna sell off everything for another Badger. But I don't think that was the right call. I think he just needed to get up as many squirrels as possible. And it looks like Mochaccino is barely going to make it happen. A few seconds away from starving. He does have the third base up, though. He could sell off some squirrels and throw down a farm, no problem. Oh, man. Bindove's going to tap as that tier 3 warrant goes down. Really cool game there. Alright, everybody, don't forget to sign up for Jets Tournament. The sign-ups are ending soon. It's going to be a lot of fun. These custom map tournaments are always really cool and refreshing. I think they work really well. Like, you know, obviously the RNG is awesome and a big part of Tooth and Tail, but playing on the custom maps are a lot of fun, too. So give it a try. It's definitely worth it. It's going to be a replay-based tournament where you're going to have a whole week to do your rounds with your opponent. I think that's a really cool format since we've got a lot of players all over the world. South America, North America, Europe, even some players over in Asia. So I think that's great for how spread out we are as a community, you know. Just kind of meet up with your opponent whenever it works for the two of you, get your matches knocked out, and there you go. So sign up for that. The information is in the event section underneath the stream you're watching now. And let's keep it going. We still got a lot of matches for tonight. Running a little late this time around, so let's hop into Game 8. And save your favorite games. I know a lot of people have been playing lately, so save your replays. Send them to me, guys. I definitely need more replays to do a show next week on the new patch, which I know is what everyone wants. But over here on the left, we got Cyanide, one of the semi-finalists in the 21 Clues. And over on the right, we got Snetch. Snetch is definitely a good up-and-comer. I think this could turn out to be a pretty good match. I think the power level here is pretty even between these two guys. Cyanide going for the 5-farm double, while Snetch is going for the 5-farm double, but in moles. This is hilarious. Neither one of them has scouted it yet either. Actually, really good job on Snetch too. He faked going for economy on Cyanide's first scout. So I don't know if Cyanide's completely hip to what he's doing, and at the same time, Snetch is none the wiser either. Ooh, his moles were a little bit delayed though from building all those farms. That is a little bit unfortunate. Only one mole out right now. If he didn't have those other farms queued, he could have had like 4 moles at the time. And Cyanide is just going to come in and run rampant, killing a couple pigs here. Very good value, but Snetch's mole army is starting to get together. However, you really want to be targeting building pigs with these moles, not established pigs, unless you have a critical mass of them. Gonna get a single pig, though. I don't think these other 2 moles will be able to take another one, but with the reinforcements, maybe. And what the heck is going on here? The moles are piling up. Wait, does Snetch win this? With the structure crit? I think so, right? No, Cyanide, you should have just gone for it, man. You're not gonna get home in time. How close was he? I definitely think Cyanide should have just stayed with it. So short and sweet. That was a really cool game, though. I liked how you both were 5-farm doubling each other, and neither one of you knew. That was pretty funny. I needed a short one, though, so thank you for that. Since we're running a little bit long tonight. I got a free-for-all for game number 9. So let's see how this one pans out. The bottom right, we've got this guy. Up top, we've got Mr. Ziggy. At the bottom left, we've got Big Pimpintosh. Alright, who wins the best deck award? Definitely Big Pimpintosh. Definitely Big Pimpintosh here. Look at this deck. It's a work of art, man. Squirrel, Wolf, Fox, Turret, Balloon, Artie. Let's go. Ziggy and this guy have interesting decks too. Alright, I gotta give a little tip of the hat to Ziggy for not running squirrels. Mole Pigeon is very bold. Mole Pigeon Falcon. Like, what do you do in the early game to not die? You know, Ziggy obviously wants to get up to his Fox, and then eventually into a bunch of owls. Tosh, man. I mean, the wolf can technically buff the defense. And wolf buff squirrels are actually really good. But we all know what Tosh is up to. He wants to get that wolf buff fox up and running. Oh, I wasn't even paying attention. I was marveling at these decks too much. This guy with the proxy mill siege going on already killed a couple of pigs. Another pig is going to go down. Damn, man. This is really rough for Tosh. Oh my god. Meanwhile, Ziggy, the triple mole rush on this guy. Does this guy see it? Yes, he does. But can he do anything about it? No, he can't. I think if Ziggy waits for 9 moles, you just go in there and delete the mill. What is this game, dude? Tosh is packing up and going up there. We're just doing a ring around the rosy here. Everyone's carouseling around one position. Yeah, 9 moles, especially without 8 pigs here. I'm not a big mole guy. But yeah, that very easily knocked that mill out. And Ziggy knows he's in a great spot. Ziggy could probably just come in and kill this guy. No, he's gonna go for Tosh? I think it would have been safer to go for this guy. But he doesn't know about Tosh's additional mill, does he? Oh, he does know. Yeah, nice try. But it's a big yikes, unfortunately. He could have killed this guy, man. But it's okay. Dedicating hard onto these moles. 18 moles on the way for Ziggy, who still has a good economy. Tosh cleaning up, though, getting some work done. Re-establishing his portion of the map as Ziggy is moving up top and trying to prevent Tosh from giving Ziggy a taste of this guy's medicine. But Tosh has 6 squirrels, which are formidable even against a bunch of moles with some proper micro. Good job there from Tosh. Not losing any squirrels. Every little bit counts. This turret, though, man. Oh, wait, no, that's his turret. I thought for some reason that was this guy's turret shooting. This guy just quietly trying to get reestablished in the map. And Ziggy's doing good so far this game, man. If he could find a way to fit some foxes into this. Hey, what's up? You did it, man? We're just watching some crazy free-for-alls here. Big Pimpin' Tosh moving in, getting whatever value he can on these undefended warrens. Ziggy. Maybe a little power hungry here. Power blinded. What am I looking for? That's not the right word either. Drunk with power. Sitting in the middle of the map with 13 moles just looking at this mill like, I could kill that if I wanted. But I'm a merciful god. I will just get back and build some of my flying units instead. Oh, this guy. The 4-farm fox. Let's go. Meanwhile, Tosh with the wolf. I love this game. This game is amazing. I want to see this guy with the fox come back. Can he even afford a fox? He will eventually afford a fox. Only he doesn't buy anything else. With that big bad wolf coming though. Maybe sell one of those balloons, Tosh, or you sold the turret. Alright. Alright, here comes Ziggy. Now he's just gonna defend this artillery. Doesn't want to lose any units here. Wants to let that owl build. Dude, if this guy ends up winning this... Does Ziggy know about that top base? No, he doesn't. Maybe he just thinks this guy's, like, hanging out. Well, I guess he's got to know that's not his only mill, right? Because he's just now building a farm on it. Oh, he keeps his units out of position, though. And Tosh, ever the diligent nerd, hops in and knocks out that artillery. No problem. People say a lot of things are bad, Mocha. People are haters. And you shouldn't listen to them in general. Alright, this guy's had enough. He's going for some blood here and knocks this guy out with the help of Big Pimpin' Tosh. Quite unfortunate as this guy was about to get his fox out. Bleh. Bleh. Double owl. Let's go Ziggy, the hero of this anime. Can he pierce through? He's only got a couple falcons, man. These balloons pose a real threat. But Tosh doesn't have a good way to deal with these mice. He needs some turrets up. If you get enough turrets, you can mow down those mice with minimal losses. However, the mole's quite good at dealing with turrets. More owls, more falcons on the way. I think Ziggy's got it, man. I'm not sure what Tosh can really do at this point. Let's see. I mean, if there's a player that could figure out a comeback at this point, it would be Tosh. But I'm not sure if he's got the comp for this, right? Like, Ziggy's got a very strong ultra late game composition. As long as he doesn't lose the key units here, like the owls, which get deleted. Holy guacamole. Dude, those Wolf Buff balloons. Oh my god. Wow. Damn, dude. Alright, Ziggy. 1,000 food. Let's see some moles. The old mills and moles. Oh, no ramp right there. You gotta figure out another spot. Tasha's gotta know, though. Yeah, just build them. Just build them. Build a million. Yeah, it's not gonna work, unfortunately, for him. So, good victory here for Tosh. Got pretty close, though, man. Tosh was almost eliminated right off the bat. Really cool game. A little bit of whack-a-mole here. But Tosh eventually destroys all the gristmills and wins all the internet points. Alright, we got 3 left for you guys. Let's get into it. Game number 10. At the bottom right, we've got Doggo, old school name. And top left, Protocam. What is this? January of 2018? I forgot all about Doggo. I think wasn't it like Doggo and Dutch Defender? It's like a 2v2 team in like one of the first 2v2 tournaments. Am I remembering that correctly? Would anybody else here even remember that? Protocam. Little 5-farm Mullen getting dirty. Yeah, Doggo is like a launch name, dude. I haven't seen this guy in years. Tooth and Tail's one of those games, man. You take a break from it, but you come back, you know, eventually. Good response here from Doggo. I mean, I have a bad memory in general. But I could have... I swear Doggo was like a player around launch. I'm 100%. Yeah, I remember Doggo. Nice defense in the early game. Protocam following this up with a 6-farm triple. Ever the aggressor in these matches. And look at this Doggo deck, man. I want to believe in it, you know? But I think it's a bad deck. Especially for this patch. I mean, I think both these decks are bad, though. But they're fun. And that's what's more important. Never forget that. Ooh, Protocam coming in. Gonna get the deny on this mill. Actually decides to jump on these squirrels. Tons and tons of value. Needs to get out now, though. But he decides to overcommit, I feel like. He could have lived with all those lizards, but he still trades nonetheless. Protocam, dude. I love this guy. Oh my god. So he did a 5-farm mole. And then he went into... Was it a 7-farm triple lizard? And then that, like, kind of worked. Okay. And then he just straight up builds an owl. Like, this is awesome. Meanwhile, Doggo's, like, playing greedy, but kind of playing well. For the most part, I feel like. He knows about the owl. So that's the right move in response to seeing that tier 3. Outside of getting your own tier 3, you know, ecoing up. I think you can get into some turrets. Maybe some snakes. To start dealing with that. But yeah, I love this from Doggo. Absolutely love it. I think the turret's probably not needed yet. I do think you want turrets for sure. But not until that tier 3 is actually out. I think you can feel safe enough. Dude, Protocam, man. Sign my mouse pad. Oh my god. We've seen this so much tonight. This just reckless abandon. Just pedal to the metal getting into that double tier 3. Even going up to half stat on a second base. I actually think that is smart. I think he's scouted... Yeah, he's scouted for the most part that Doggo's macroing up. Doggo's getting into his own Fox. I don't hate the Fox. I mean, it gets a bad rap against the Owl, but to be honest, against one Owl, you're probably okay. It's when the multiple Owls come out that the Fox becomes more and more useless. But what he really needs is the snakes. And he's getting into those. He's gonna need more than one turret, though. This Owl should be able to clear out this turret. But if you get like 2 or 3 turrets, you're kind of just gonna deny all the damage from those mice. Yeah, there you go. Great play. Dude, he's absolute unit, this Protocam. Are you kidding me? Wolf almost here. Well, Protocam doesn't have a whole lot that can really benefit from the Wolf. I mean, his economy, obviously. Does the Wolf Buff Owl actually, like, do anything? Does it make the mice spawn faster? Yeah, it does. Looks like it does, right? Yeah. Which is actually hilarious because the way mice work, it's not a set number of mice that can spawn per owl. It's actually, mice have a set lifespan, I believe? Am I right about that? I'm not the biggest owl guy in the world. Oh, Doggo's an OG, dude. Yeah, Doggo, I remember Doggo from like 3 years ago. It's cool to see him playing again. Yeah, so a Wolf Buff Owl would net more mice. That's correct, right? Because it's decreasing the time between mice spawning. So this is where it's starting to get ugly for Doggo. When you start getting into 3 owls, multiple wolves, there's really not a lot of targets for this fox, and this wolf buffed mice being able to just chase down this fox, very deadly. It's kind of funny. This is actually an old school style that Doggo's using. I used to do this a lot, like in the launch meta. Basically, if you're a fox player, you could just build a whole bunch of turrets like this against owl players, and eventually you get to the point where the mice aren't as effective anymore, and you just try to use the turrets to buffer a way to split the map in your favor. So I think that's what Doggo's doing. He needs to secure this 4th base. He needs to kind of piggyback up some of these turrets still. These mice are getting a lot of value, but Protocam is playing this really well. These balloons and turrets are just going to hard counter the fox. So the fox is no longer valuable. It's never going to be able to get in close enough to hit anything but mice. And even hitting mice, it's risking dying. And unfortunately, Doggo really doesn't have any units that are good against the owl. No cams, no skunks, no falcons. He's got the snakes, but snakes being good against the owl at this position is a little bit magical Christmas land. Even loses the fox there, but to be honest, I'm pretty impressed the fox lived for as long as it did. I think Protocam just slams it down from here. Lots of farms from Doggo, though, but he just doesn't have anything worthwhile to spend the money on, unfortunately. You know, what Protocam's bringing to the table, Doggo just doesn't have anything to deal with. You know, if he just had, like, skunks or cams, I think he'd have a chance here to get, like, a critical mass one of those units to where these mice are no longer effective. But these mice are getting damage done. Every volley of mice is killing a couple squirrels, is killing a couple turrets, and it's going to bleed Doggo dry eventually. And I think this game just ends. This proxy artillery cannon by Protocam is just too oppressive. Great job there. Cool replay. Alright, we got 2 more left for you tonight. Kind of a more beginner match and then an expert match to end the night. Again, while I still have everybody, please sign up for Jets Tournament. The sign-up ends in less than 24 hours, so don't delay. Sign up today. These are old patch replays. If you're a new player, maybe you've been enjoying the campaign, and you're interested in playing multiplayer, welcome. Good to see you. If you're live here or in the VOD, I'm talking to you specifically, new player. Welcome to the scene. Make sure to join the Discord. Very, very important to understand what's going on. This is a smaller game. It's alive enough to be fun and you can still play, but you know, sometimes it, you know, like for example, if I'm going to play ranked, I hop in the Discord and I just say, hey, I'm going to play. You know, most of the time you can find a match even without doing that, but it helps to do that, especially because other people might be playing something else. They're like, oh shoot, Delthius wants to play. I'll play a couple games with them. You know. So I highly recommend joining the Discord for that reason. There's lots of great streamers out there. I've got thousands of hours of content on this channel. And moving forward, we'll be on the new patch. I just wanted to get to these old patch replays tonight for 2 reasons. For one, I appreciate all the replays you guys send me. I couldn't do this without you. This is an audience participation show. So I just wanted one more opportunity to get to the last of as many as I can. And also, logistically, I just don't have new patch replays yet. So I'm in desperate need for new patch replays. So check out Jets Tournament, sign up for that. Send me more replays. Send Jet some replays too. I think Jet's starting to do more streams geared towards analysis or like breaking down certain decks. He did that today with one deck he's been bragging about in Discord. Yeah, play the campaign, dude. Yeah, playing the campaign is good. It's definitely a lot different than multiplayer, but obviously a great place to start. I didn't even finish the campaign for so long. You want to know a dirty secret? I got to like, how far did I get? So I got the game like, I don't think I got it on launch. I think I picked it up like a week or 2 after launch. In like September of 2017, early September, late August. And then I completed the Hopper campaign, so I did Bellified and Hopper. And I was like, alright, I get it. And I started playing multiplayer. And then I didn't actually finish the campaign for like 5 months. I'm terrible. But I like the campaign's fun. And it is good. I'm not dogging on it, but multiplayer, this is definitely a multiplayer game, you know. 100%. I think multiplayer is way, way better. But anyways, let's get into match number 11, guys. Dude, I just wanted to play, man. Alright, in the bottom we got the Puffin. And up top we got Wildken. And I had no idea what I was doing when I started. So I have a ton of RTS experience. As you guys know, I've been a StarCraft nerd my whole life. I still watch StarCraft basically daily. And yeah, I hopped on, I completed Bellified campaign, I completed the Hopper campaign, and I just started playing online. And I got my ass kicked several times. And one guy beat me with a Fast Fox. So I stuck to that, and I developed a Fast Fox build order that I wrote a comprehensive Reddit guide on, and that was kind of my foray into getting involved in the scene. Since I had a lot of RTS experience, I just wrote a very detailed, lengthy guide on Reddit. You can still find it. It's there from like the very, very early days of the Reddit. It's a freaking essay. It's huge. I like broke down every unit, and I talked about like the concepts of RTS and fundamentals and stuff, and then I gave a build order example. Which my build order, which I was very, very proud of, that I had figured out and piloted to a lot of success in the early days, was 8 farm, 2 tier 1, into Fox, into 2 tier 1. And I think it still lines up right. It might not quite line up as much now with the tier 3 change. But it would make it so you'd end up with 12 squirrels, and you would have like exactly like right when the fox warren finished building, you would have 180 food precisely to build the fox. And then if you were getting attacked, you could sell a warren and build a couple emergency turrets, and then you get out a fast fox, which everyone thought was super toxic, and it probably is, except for me. I had a lot of fun piloting it. So that's how I got into Tooth and Tail. And then I just decided, you know, I watch casted. I've watched so much StarCraft. It's not healthy, the amount of StarCraft I've watched. I think I started getting into watching competitive StarCraft when I was like 16, so in 2005. So for 15 years, I've been watching competitive StarCraft, so I kind of just picked up a little bit on how to cast and be mildly entertaining, at least, from guys like Tasteless and Artosis. So I decided, screw it, I'm going to make a Twitch channel. And I made Tooth and Tail TV. It was actually Icebox's idea to name it Tooth and Tail TV, which I've kind of regretted at certain phases. Not really, because I don't really have any aspirations of being a big Twitch guy. Not really a life goal of mine. I just kind of do this for fun as a hobby. But there were points where I was considering it, and I was just like, darn it, I should have made it a more personalized channel so I could do other things as well. But Icebox, I had a caster called Icebox. I made a post on Reddit, and I was like, hey, I'm just going to start casting Tooth and Tail games. And Icebox hit me up, just some Reddit stranger. And he was so good, dude. Oh my god. I was worried, because I was trying to be like nice and inclusive. I was like, yeah, I'll cast with you, man. I was like, I don't know who this guy is. What if he's got a really dorky voice? Doesn't know what he's talking about. But Icebox was better than me. Dude, he just ghosted, man. He had a kid and just... He backed out and never looked back, dude. I don't know. I reached out to him a couple times. I have his email. I haven't lately, but I think like a year or two ago I did. I was just like, hey, man, if you ever just want to come back, you're welcome to. Yeah. It is true. But yeah, but Icebox, I mean, oh my god. Like, I couldn't ask for a better co-caster. He was amazing. He was really good. You know, he played the game a lot. He liked different styles than I did. He was more of an owl guy. He had a wonderful radio voice. He was perfect. And me and him kept it large and in charge. We teamed up with the Clash of Comrades. You know, I actually really liked Clash of Comrades because they were the big established kind of casters and hosts and stuff when we came into the scene from Alpha. And they were so welcoming to us. Like, it wasn't... They didn't feel threatened, or it wasn't like this like bad blood. Like, they immediately were just like, hey, cast with us, you know, and invited us on their channel to cast with them. And, you know, I invited them to cast on my channel. But yeah, the name Tooth and Tail TV was actually Icebox's. I was trying to think of like a more generic, like base trade TV kind of name, you know? Which I think would have been a better idea. And it was kind of a jerk move to go with Tooth and Tail TV. But after we did like 1 or 2 broadcasts, I reached out to Andy, developer of the game, and I was like, hey, I realize it's kind of lame. You know, he was there on our first stream, actually. We had DJ Soak and a couple other people just play a whole bunch of show matches live. Like, I just went live and hit up the Discord and was like, hey, I need people. Who wants to play? Who wants to play live and get casted by a couple dudes who don't know what they're talking about? And yeah, so I hit up Andy, and I was just like, kind of name my channel Tooth and Tail TV. Like, he was there on my first stream, Pocketwatch, the Twitch handle. And I was like, is that cool? Because if it's not, I need to rebrand, you know, now. I need to change the name or make a new channel. And it was kind of a ask for forgiveness, not permission situation. Andy was super cool about it. And it makes sense from a developer's perspective. You know, it is a gamble on his part because he's trusting me and whoever I bring on this channel to not say or do anything that would inappropriately represent his brand, but I am quite aware of that and do my best to not do those things. That's why I kind of keep the language PG-13 and don't talk about anything crazy or be negative in general. And yeah, just kind of, I started doing it twice a week. Picked up Steam. Took some breaks. I announced a formal retirement, but came back. I think we've all done that at one point. Gentlemen did it too. So yeah, that's kind of the history of Delthius and ToothAndTailTV that nobody asked for. And I've been talking about instead of casting this game. What is even going on in this game, man? We're 7 minutes in. The Puffins got a fledgling second base. Wildkin's looking good. 8 farms on this second base here. A couple turrets up and running. Getting into a lot of core tier 2, but Puffin's got the wolf. The wolf and a flock of falcons. A murder of falcons. What do you call a group of falcons? It's not a murder. That's a murder of crows. I don't think flock is correct either, because I think flock infers prey birds, right? Like you'd say a flock of pigeons. Those sorts of things. What's up, Monk? A death ball. Are you the monk I think you are? You probably are. That's what I would guess. My D&D monk. Dude, I'm glad you generally enjoy the concept, or enjoy the content, man. I actually, you know what's funny about ToothAndTailTV and my career in Twitch in general? Like, I don't advertise it to my friends for the most part. Like, a lot of my friends, I mean, I mentioned it in passing, but I don't, like, tell my friends to tune into my stream, right? I feel like the audience here is very organic. It's just people interested in Tooth and Tail, people that play the game, people that used to play the game. Maybe a couple of bad lads that just enjoy my particular brand of casting. But yeah, so I think, yeah, Monk's, they call me Monk's one of my real life friends. And I mentioned to him I did this once, and you bring it up a couple times, man. I like, I'm glad you enjoy it. He just likes the term squizzard. There's no squizzards in this game, unfortunately. Squode. Squode's another good one. Squirrel Toad. Yeah, we just had a sick 2v2 tournament. If you want more content, check that out. Also, 21 Clues grand finale was really good too in my VODs. Wildkin getting the double owl. I really like this comp from Wildkin. I think it's going to outscale Puffin. Like, the wolf is nice. Well, honestly, it's hard to say. Like, he needs... What I'm worried about for Puffin is that he needs some fodder on the ground. Otherwise, these falcons might waste their DPS on all the mice, right? Because wolf falcons are no joke. Like, they're just going to blap down the opponent's falcons very, very quickly. But I'm thinking maybe Puffin's falcons all attack the mice, right? While Wildkin's falcons, even though they're not buffed up, they actually attack Puffin's falcons because they have nothing to buffer for them. But I think Wildkin's in a great spot. Probably a little... Oh, yeah, needs to be careful with this owl, though. These buffed up falcons might be able to chase it home. Ooh! Oh my god, 1 HP on that owl. Ooh, lordy. Yeah, Puffin just needs more economy. I think Puffin's a little bit scared of an incoming attack and keeps building units. He really needs to sell off like a couple of these tier 2 Warrens and just go crazy on the second base, because Wildkin is just winning the numbers game. Yeah, so what's your opinion on this witty pun, if you don't mind me asking. Like, when you get to these number of falcons, do you... I mean, obviously you, like, would target the owls, but pretend there aren't any owls. Like, would you target fire with your falcons? Against the opponent? Like, imagine it's just, like, 20 falcons versus 20 falcons. Would you target fire? I don't think so, right? I don't think that's correct, because then you're wasting so much DPS, aren't you? Because you're going to overkill the falcons individually. Like, I think at this phase in the game, you know, when you get to huge armies like this, you don't want to target fire anymore. But I would waste that DPS on owls just to get that kill. Or like the wolf, you know, if you get an opportunity. But that's also another mistake people can make, is going crazy with that. Like if Wildkin just tried to target the wolf if it's safely behind the falcons and just runs their falcons through the enemy's falcons and they all get shredded. Yeah, I don't think you I think it's the same as true for like squirrels and stuff. Like once you get up to like 18 squirrels, you know, 18 versus 18, you don't really want to target fire anymore because you're just overkilling the hell out of them. Damn, we're getting into a Falcon turret standoff, and again, I think this favors Wildkin. I think Puffin, you know, just a little bit of a beginner of a player. I think they were doing pretty good for the most part for a while, but they just lost the economic game here. They really, really need to build more farms. And Puffin needs some fodder. Needs a boar. Even the, I wouldn't even mind some ferrets at this point, to be honest. Just start poking in on the turrets. But Wilds needs to keep his economy up and running as well. Third base has gone dry. Now, there is a benefit to what Puffin's doing if this game goes on for like a heckin' hour. You know, Puffin's not going to starve out as quickly, but... Dude, this is nuts. We're getting into a Cold War situation here. This gets very difficult because neither player is any longer encouraged to fight. The defender's advantage with all the turrets here makes attacking in almost suicidal. But I think even if you are planning to start out, that's no excuse to not have at least like an 8-farm economy. In general, you want to keep an 8-farm economy for as long as you can. You know what I mean? Like, really, you only need like two starvation farms is typically enough. Like, I understand not going ham and just farming up everything at once. But I think in general, you want to keep an 8-farm economy. Like, sometimes in the early to mid-game, it makes sense. You kind of, like, jump up to 16. Right? If you fully saturate that second base, but then you lose 4 farms on your main, and the rest are going to follow suit. What was that noise? Is that the mice dying? Dude, we're in a standstill. Dude, we're just chilling. I need to tell more Tooth and Tail TV stories. What else do I got? Who are some good, like, some old school good casters? Best Team Maker, I thought was really good. Like, Clash of Comrades was just awesome. They've produced the best Tooth and Tail content, hands down. I think it's even still worth checking them out on YouTube, even though the even though the content is obviously very dated. You know, the patches. Oh! It looks like either the replay desynced or something, or the Puffin just kind of gave up. Alright. Well, Wild Kid wins the slow game on that one. Very, very anticlimactic, yeah. We were waiting, man. We had like 30 Falcons, 20 turrets. That was like the ending of Game of Thrones right there. Good lord. Alright, match number 12. Let's get into it. Alright, on the right, we've got this guy. And on the left, we've got Big Pimpin' Tosh. Alright, guys. Been a little bit of a long show tonight. But we're going to end it on a proper match here. Tosh and this guy, both high-level players. Ready to rock and roll. Let's see what they're going to bring to the table. I guess I like this. Yeah, I definitely like this map better for Tosh. But it's not unplayable for this guy. I think the ramping is a little bit awkward. Little 5-farm mole rushing going on from Tosh here. This guy doesn't see it. Is he AFK? Oh my god. Not like this. Oh man, he was AFK for a second. And that's all the time Tosh needs to get in here and get 47 food worth of damage. And he's just keeping the mole here to prevent this guy from building another. Look at that. Using that water. I love it when people use the water healing, man. That triggers me. Like, you got to know about it by now. Like, there was an excuse for a little while, but it's been patched in for months now, hasn't it? And this guy trying to be sneaky, proxy 5-farm triple in response to this. But Tosh is building up to 6 moles. And I'm not the dirtiest player in the world, get it, because they're moles. But is 6 enough to just dive on the mill? Without all the pigs here? Tosh is saying it is, and I don't doubt him. Oh, it definitely is, dude. Moles are just crazy. And look at that. Oh, man, I was like hyping this match up. I mean, this is still an awesome match, but one way or another, it's going to be short. This guy did get 6 squirrels out. 7 squirrels here. They are going to do very nicely. I'm dropping a little bit of frames, unfortunately, guys, but we are at the end of the show. So I guess I won't worry about it too much. I don't know why I'm dropping frames. Maybe my wife is uploading Twitch videos or something. I apologize. This guy trying to make it happen, though. A bloodbath. And starting to build some pigs. But the problem here is that Tosh still has a nice full economy. The stream itself is getting bored. Oh, God. Dude, I think this has been a fun stream. I think we've had a good time tonight. I think we're a little bit let down on that last game, right? Dude, I think Tosh just has this. Yeah, Tosh, no squirrels in his deck, by the way. I'm not really surprised because it's Tosh. And he does crazy decks all the time. And he's just going to go for it again with these moles. Moles are taking out the mill so fast, and that is it. I'm not dogging your game, Wildkin. It was cool. I was just hoping... No, not at all, dude. I don't want to discourage you from submitting. It was really interesting to watch. It was just... We built up to so much, and then he just quit. We wanted to see the blood. But anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. Please, please send me new replays. I definitely need them to do a show next Friday night. I think I've gotten a couple already. Nice, yeah. Oh. I just noticed Tosh. Tosh, you sent in like a million replays. Are they old patch or current patch? I could look. But yeah, I'm already getting a few submissions, so thank you, people. But I need more. Last game of this patch was that, I know. That was it, man. That's a wrap on the mine cam patch. What do we call it? So yeah, we're on to the new patch now, guys. Moving forward, all new patch content here. Don't forget to sign up again for Jets tournament. It's going to be a custom map tournament, double limb challenge. Let's go. Weekly bracket rounds, which I think is a great way to do that sort of thing. The replays will be cast by me, by Jet. Maybe we'll get Tosh involved too if we need more help casting. With sign up, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're so close, man. We're at 13. We just need 16. All I want is 16. I just want 16, man. That's not too much to ask, is it? We can have a solid, proper 16-player bracket. I think that'd be dope. So yeah, I will see you guys next Friday night or on the ladder. And until then, enjoy the rest of your weekend. And take care, everybody. Have a good night.